Hey, what is up you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing with you my top 3 favorite reasons why I feel that every single one of you, especially if you're an undergraduate, should have at least one internship in your pocket before entering the workplace. I genuinely see the benefits of my internships, and I wish I had this kind of mindset and awareness at the beginning of my internship journey, because it would have made my internships a lot more intentional, purposeful and meaningful, and also allowed me to contribute much more to the companies I interned at. Another reason why I'm making this video is because I feel that the benefits of an internship goes beyond employability. I feel like this kind of information isn't being shared enough on YouTube, and I really hope to just share with you my personal thought process on why I think internships are extremely important, so your parents don't have to and they can thank me later. So that being said, right now I'm actually on an internship, and it's my 7th internship. Every single one of these internships have contributed to the confidence that I have today to talk about internships, and it will definitely shape the career path that I will have in the future. I've made many vlogs about my internship journey, and if you want to check them out, you can click over here. So if you're currently applying for an internship or thinking of applying for an internship, this video is perfect for you. So please watch to the end, because I'll also be sharing 3 bonus tips. So the number 1 reason why I absolutely love internships is because you get to learn firsthand from the experience of others. And what I mean by that is that you get to learn a lot from your mentors, your managers and your bosses. They have been around the company for much longer than you, or the industry much longer than you, and they have definitely gone through some kind of pain, hardship and also heartache that they would not want you to go through again. They will be sharing with you tips, advice and some shortcuts, guidelines to save you a lot of time and energy when implementing your own projects. After you leave your internship, you can still ask for a lot of tips and advice from them as well. Another way to learn from the experience of others is by working with different people. So because everyone simply has a very different personality, everyone's also going to have a very different working style, leadership style and management style. When you're working with everyone in your office, you can actually see the types of management styles, leadership styles and working styles that you want for yourself when you enter the workplace in the future. In one of the internships I had a very eye-opening and intriguing experience. In the span of 6 months, I actually had 3 different mentors. Each of them had a very different working style, leadership style and management style. And from each of these different mentors, I had a very different experience. Of course, it's because your manager will directly influence or impact your internship experience. And just by working with different people, you can gain so many different things. So besides learning from experience, you can also learn a lot from executing projects. You can learn as much from different people, but it's nothing like doing it yourself. Something I observed is that ever since my first internship till my internship today, I've been growing in the amount of responsibilities, accountabilities and projects that I get to take on. So in the beginning, I was doing a lot of things more like sales, business development, design work, social media. However, along time right now, I'm doing a lot more project management, marketing campaign strategy and even video production. So what I've learned is that on my internships, it's very important to spot opportunities, to also ask for opportunities and to be very grateful for the opportunities that you are given. It's really all about progression, so don't feel the need to rush yourself. In fact, I feel like throughout my internships, I've gained a lot of hard skills, soft skills and also the confidence to manage these projects over time, and it definitely did not come overnight, so just keep on working and trust me, you'll get there. So the third facet of an internship is that you get to learn a lot from the environment that you surround yourself with. What I mean by environment, it means it's beyond the people you meet, it's beyond the physical workspace. The first way you can learn from the environment is actually through the industry. So for example, if you're going into a FMCG industry where you're selling hand sanitizers, for example, it's going to be a very different environment from if you're working in, for example, a tech company. So all these industries have different ways of operating, they have different goals, they have different focuses, I would say. So definitely every single industry has something different from you to learn from, and when you're in the industry, you can learn if it's a good fit for you so that you can be well informed ahead when you're picking your career in the future. Another thing to learn from is actually the job scopes and environment. So if you're doing marketing, it's going to be extremely different from if you're doing coding. It's going to be extremely different from if you are a designer or if you are a social worker. So every single thing that you do in your internship is going to be completely different, and that's the beauty of internships. You get to experience different work scopes and job responsibilities that you would otherwise have no idea about. And the third way you can learn from the environment is from the market itself. So for example, if your company is focusing on selling hearing aids to people who are generally older, it's gonna be a whole other different experience from if your company is a tech company that wants to improve search for people, for example, right? So every single company will target very different markets or different groups of people with different intentions and different messaging and communication channels. So definitely this is something else that you want to take note so that you can be more informed in your future career decisions. And ultimately, one of the most important things for me to learn from in terms of environment is work culture. Work culture will vary depending on many different factors. For example, if your culture is to be remote versus a physical office space, it's going to be a very different experience. Startup environment versus an MNC environment. Some of the internships that you get are going to be a lot more flexible. Also, you get to learn a lot from the people around you. You can also see how happy they are doing the work that they do at the company that they are. This will actually also inform yourself subconsciously on the kind of working places that you want to be in the future. So to be honest, I've been interning at many different companies and I'm still learning what kind of environment will suit me best, and that's a great thing. And you don't want to rush the process, you just want to make sure that you're planting yourself with enough opportunities so that you are more informed when the future time comes to choose your career. So stay tuned because I have 3 bonus tips to share. My first bonus tip is to really pick up all the work language and the work lingo and the work protocols that you will need to go through when you actually start to work. And the reason why I say this is because I wish someone told me this earlier so that I don't have to embarrass myself in front of all my colleagues. I don't have to embarrass myself in front of myself. I think work language is something that takes a lot of time and practice to get used to, especially on email, especially on Slack, especially on different work management tools. So for example, when you go into your internship, you're going to be talking a lot about contracts before you actually sign on to the internship, negotiation in terms of your pay or in terms of your flexibility, in terms of how often you need to do your one-ones or your employee reflections. Every single company is extremely different, and when you have more internships, you kind of pick up the way that people talk in the work culture that you'll be putting yourself in the future. Another thing I realized is that especially if you're someone more entrepreneurial or you really want to start a business, going for an internship can also be very beneficial because you get to see how a corporation or how a different company would run and get inspiration to also start your own business. The relationships that you form in all these different companies may even boost your business in the future. Not just the relationships in your company, but also be mindful of the relationships that you make outside of your company when you're on external projects, because they will definitely remember who they work with, and who knows, you may actually get a very good lobang and they can help you out in the future as well. The third bonus tip that I have is to just basically be as open to feedback as possible. This will actually help to make you more aware of your strengths and weaknesses and also ways that you can improve for the future, and I think this is extremely invaluable. What I love about internships is that people will be a lot more open to giving you feedback and also a lot more helpful in general, and I think it's actually very helpful to be a lot more self-aware so that you don't make these same mistakes when you actually enter the workforce. I think something to note is that it's so much better to make the mistakes as an undergraduate because people are a lot more forgiving, and of course they're here to teach you as well, rather than making all these mistakes post-graduation when you are actually in your career. And ultimately, being open to criticism and constructive help is actually very good for your personal self-growth and development, even outside of work. So ultimately, internships are extremely invaluable because they will help to hone your hard skills, your soft skills, and your confidence, and also allow you to make a much more informed decision about your career when you actually have to make a decision to do so. By experiencing different internships, you're basically living different lives for a very short span of time, and this is a golden opportunity for you to put yourself in a place that you want to experience firsthand before making that decision. So I really hope to do more vlogs during my future internships, and speaking of future videos, do check out my next video because I'm going to be sharing with you everything that you should know before an internship, which is coming out next Sunday. So definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you know when my next video comes on. If you want to see more of my internship and school life, definitely watch these videos over here. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. Comment down if you have any questions or feedback, and I'd love to see you on my next video. Thank you!